Deebo Samuel is not getting traded. But what if he did? What does that look like? I hate coming up with stuff like this. What if Deebo Samuel gets traded? What does that look like? Maybe it's a possibility. We're going to talk about all that and more right now. You know what it is. San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. Let's go.
Intercepted. It is picked up by Aaron Crocker. Over midfield. He'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Crop Talk TV podcast. Peace.
Welcome to another episode of the San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. I'm your host, former NFL and AFL defensive back, Eric Crocker. And as always, y'all know what to do, man. First thing we always talk about every single time. Make sure y'all tune into the Locked On 49ers show with myself and my co-host, Brian Peacock. That's my guy. Best voice in podcasting, best voice on the radio. You know, I listen to his voice and I'm just like, man, like, why did God bless me with this voice? And I'm blessed. I appreciate it, God. But Peacock's is just, it's different. It's different. But make sure y'all listen to that. Make sure y'all listen to the Locked On NFL Draft Show with myself and my co-host, Ryan Tracy. We come at y'all 5 days a week on both of those podcasts. The Not Ideal podcast, man, is coming out tomorrow. I'm dropping the first episode, and we get into all of it. If you are someone that aspires to have a business mind, or you have a business mindset, you feel like you have something like you can offer, whatever the case, man, that's the podcast for you. All right, entrepreneurs, guys like myself, guys, I don't have a set income. I can make $10,000 in a month. I can make $18,000 in a month, and I got to figure out how can I make $30,000 in a month. All right, I'm working through all those things, and this is the podcast for y'all to join me on my journey, so we can talk about those things instead of rattling it off at the beginning of these podcast episodes. I appreciate everybody that's rocked with me so far through this journey of the morning show, man. Like, it's been a blast. It is that kind of time in the off season where, you know, I mean, we've been had this time in the off season, right? Where you just hear random stuff, and then it's like, I'm a content creator, so it's like, well, I got to touch on it because it's relevant to the 49ers, but I don't know if it's relevant to the actual situation. Are people overreacting? Is it a real thing? I don't think so. Right? We see the hashtags pay Deebo. Listen, I want to make it very clear. I believe wholeheartedly that the 49ers intend to do everything possible to make sure that they pay Deebo Samuel. I wish I could be a fly on the wall and just hear like what the initial conversations were. And how far apart are they? How far apart are they to the point where Deebo is removing 49er stuff and has his homies tweeting now, if it ain't $25 million, we don't want it. You know, all that type of stuff, right? Like, how far apart do you have to be? How disrespectful was Parag Marate in those initial contract negotiations? That's really what it comes down to, right? That's what it comes down to. That's what this is about. Leverage. And who has the leverage? I think that's a good place to start. If you listen to the fans and me, you know, and for those of you who knew, I saw someone that said, hey, I'm a new subscriber. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate everybody that's subscribed. We're over 10,000 subscribers now. You know what I'm saying? Now let's push towards 20, you feel me? So, you know, share this YouTube channel with all your friends and everything like that. I will have this back up on the streaming platforms, Apple, Spotify, all that type of stuff. That's coming soon. But that's my train of thought. Look, going off on a rant. But anyways, yeah, being a content creator, I don't like coming up with stuff. I don't like I'm a football guy, right? Like I play football, and that's the perspective that I try to bring. I try to bring the perspective from the players. I try to bring the perspective from the coaches. That's the angle I take. And the good thing about 49ers content creators, you have all these guys that do different things, right? Yeah, you got these guys that like, man, this guy excels in this, and you know, this guy's like, you know, he's the fans guy, and then you have the, you know, the one that pushes against the grain, and then you got Eric Crocker, who tries to bring the perspective from the players in that situation and kind of let my experiences shine through everything. So the creating narratives That's not really my thing. It's not my thing. But I hop on Twitter this morning, just like all of y'all, you roll out of bed and it's like, okay, look at your mentions, look at some things. And I saw that teams have called about Deebo Samuel. And it's like, of course you call about Deebo Samuel. He's one of the baddest motherfuckers in the NFL. Right? Like, of course you want to inquire. There have been reports already that the New York Jets have been listening in on, hey, let's watch the situation, right? And when the Jets initially were looking in on it, 49 fans pushed back on it, and maybe even me. And I'm like, well, it doesn't really mean anything, but of course they're watching. You got three receivers: AJ Brown, DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, who, hey, they're all about to be in contract talks, and somebody can become disgruntled. So let's just keep an eye on that, right? Like that was the Jets' perspective. Like, hey, let's keep an eye on it, and if something gets a little weird, then we're gonna tune in, right? We're gonna let's pick. Hey John, hey Kyle, right? One of those things. Well, it looks like the Jets were more right than wrong to kind of keep an eye on Deebo Samuel. Now, that doesn't mean that anything's going to happen, but if I'm the Jets, I tried to trade for Tyreek Hill, and it didn't work. He ended up going to Miami. He had to re-sign and everything as well, so they kind of have some leverage there. But now it's like, yeah, let me turn my sights towards Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, these guys. And from all reports right now, the 49ers have shot down the calls coming in. Nope, we ain't hang up. Hey, Deebo Samuel, hang up, right? But at what point does it become like real? Like, at what point do we hit the panic button? Now, as fans, it's just like, conversation. But it's like, I think a couple years ago, if you would have told me that DeForest Buckner would be a Colt come draft time, like, what? Get out of here. There's no way they would do that. Oh, they did it. And they had no issues with DeForest Buckner, right? DeForest Buckner, everything, when you go to draft a player and you're like, man, I want this player to be an elite player at his position. I want this player to be the ultimate leader. I want this player to be, great on the field, off the field, no issues whatsoever. All of his teammates love him. I want this player that I draft at number 6 or number 7 overall to be all of those things. And DeForest Buckner was all of those things. I mean, everything that you want in your play, like everything. And they traded him. So the one thing that let me know right away is everyone has a price. Everyone has a price. So what we're going to talk about today is, and am I glitchy? Because as I'm looking at it right now, it's glitchy. I don't know if it's glitchy on y'all end. But everyone has a price. So what is Deebo Samuel's price? For me, it's tough because I don't think there's any amount of picks that can replace the value of Deebo Samuel to the 49ers. What I mean by that is like somebody that is able to impact the game in so many ways and do so many different things. How do you replace that? I remember yesterday before we got out of here, as I was kind of shutting things down, I saw a comment come in at the bottom, and we were already on our way out. I think I had already ended the stream, and someone asked a question: do you think teams are really scared of Deebo? Like, really? Do you think that it was along those lines? Like, are teams really scared of Deebo Samuel? And I'd say this: I think teams are scared of Deebo Samuel, the football player. Like, and I think he kind of asked about number one corners and things like that. I don't know so much if number one corners are like, oh man, I got to guard Deebo Samuel this week. Maybe, because we saw what Jalen Ramsey said, right? Jalen Ramsey was like, oh, top 5 receivers, Deebo Samuel, like he's a mother effer to play against. Whatever he said about Deebo, right? So are they scared to just line up against him and, oh, he's just going to outrun me or he's just going to whoop me? I don't know about that, but I do know one thing. Teams fear Deebo Samuel and the impact that he has. between him and George Kittle. I mean, like George Kittle, when he's on, like he's getting off, right? But Deebo, it feels like he's like always on. George Kittle, I don't know. But Deebo, he affects the game in too many ways because even if he's not on as a pass catcher, then okay, we'll just put him in the backfield. And he averaged like 20 yards per touchdown on 8 touchdown carries. So our team's scared of him? I think so. I think everything that's the guy. That's the guy. We got to stop Deebo Samuel. How do you stop him? I don't know. Because here's the only way that you can stop him. You stop Deebo if it's not even you, it's Kyle Shanahan. In the NFC Championship, Deebo Samuel didn't see an attempt or touch the ball in like the last 12 minutes of the game. Like that's how you stop him, just Kyle Shanahan not use him, right? When they started using him as a running back, it was interesting. But one thing was very clear. He's ripping off runs. Like he's explosive. Like he actually has a knack. Like his vision is good. They're running him inside the tackles. They had to. Everything with him was toss, toss, toss. Then they said, you know what? Everybody knows this is a toss. Let's do these counters. Toss counter. Hey, let's just run them through the A and B gap. And it worked. It worked against Dallas. It worked against Green Bay. And it worked against the Rams. I almost called them the St. Louis Rams. Think about it like this. He's just so impactful. He's just too impactful. So for someone of Deebo Samuel's magnitude, what kind of capital do you get back for something like that? Right now we're hypothetically speaking, and again, I don't expect them to trade him, but let's say things just spin off and they are just way too far apart. Parag Marate has his head up his ass, and he's like, we're not giving him $25 million a year, or we're not giving him $70 million guaranteed, or any of those things. So they can seek a trade. What does a trade look like? Now, Tyreek Hill's a little bit older, but obviously he's strung together much more productive, consistent productive seasons than Deebo Samuel, right? So the New York Jets offered him, or not him, but the Kansas City Chiefs what they offered for sure 35 and 38. All right. So what did Kansas City get? Right? Kansas City from the Miami Dolphins. They got picks, and I should pull it up. But I know they got it on paper. It's like, oh, they got a first round pick, they got a second round pick, and there was like 5 picks, right? Some later stuff. But on paper, it's like, oh, they got a first and a second, right? Like in the sense of the high picks, a first and a second. And when you hear first, you just think, oh, first round pick, and you're thinking maybe, pick 15 or whatever you're thinking. And no, it wasn't. It was like, yeah, it was a first round pick, but it was like pick 29. It was the 49ers original pick. All right. So it was pick 29 and like pick 51. Like those were the big dog picks in this. 29 and 51. So I think what you have to ask yourself is, would you rather pick 29 and 51 or 35 and 38? Now, on paper, oh man, this team got a first and a second for Hill. We're only getting 2 seconds, but I bet on the value chart is pretty the same. 35 and 38, like I mean, we're talking about what, 6 picks later? And 12 picks sooner with the 38th pick as opposed to the 51st pick overall. So I guess we start there. If you're the 49ers and you just can't figure out how to get a deal done with Deebo Samuel, and you're just way too far apart, could you see yourself taking picks 35 and 38? Is that enough? And the second in 2023. So we'll say that 35, 38 in the second in 2023. If the Jets were to offer that right now to the 49ers for Deebo Samuel, would you take it? Not even close. I agree. Hell no. So what's it going to take to get him? Because that's kind of the value that was put on Tyreek Hill. Do y'all think that Tyreek Hill is a better receiver than Deebo Samuel? Do y'all think that Deebo is more impactful than Tyreek Hill? I think that's a good question to ask. Is is Tyreek Hill more impactful than Deebo Samuel? Is Tyreek Hill worth more than Deebo Samuel? Let's try to look at some of Tyreek Hill's. What has Tyreek Hill done in the NFL? Let's see. All right, got Tyreek Hill's stats pulled up. So Tyreek Hill, there's 1 year, there's 2 years where he didn't go over 1,000 yards. His rookie year and his fourth year where he only played 12 games. But outside of that, he's had some pretty impactful games. And he had some pretty good rushing numbers as well, which I wasn't expecting to see. His rookie year, he had 267 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, a 70-yard run. He was averaging Tyreek Hill was averaging 11 yards per carry on 24 attempts. That ain't bad. That ain't bad. His third year, he had 151 rushing yards on 22 attempts, almost 7 yards per carry. They continue to use him. 2020, Tyreek Hill had, because I think most people don't look at Tyreek Hill, oh, receiver. But he got some rushing attempts in here. 2020, 13 rushing attempts. He was selected to, he's been first team All Pro 3 times. Tyreek Hill has. He's first team All Pro 3 times. He's been to the Pro Bowl every single year, even his rookie year. It must have been as a returner. His rookie year must have been as a returner. But every year he's been Pro Bowl. That's crazy. That's kind of wild, huh? It's been at least 6 years, all 6 years Pro Bowl. And half of those years, first team All Pro. Not second team All Pro, first team All Pro. So I say that to say, who's worth more in a trade? The guy that's been to 6 straight Pro Bowls, 3 first team All Pros, or Deebo Samuel? I don't know. Yeah, Tyreek Hill was a running back at Oklahoma State. Yeah. And then he went to, I actually played against the college he went to. What was it? West Georgia? West Alabama. West Georgia? Was it West Georgia or West Alabama? West Alabama. I played against West Alabama in college. Now Tyreek Hill wasn't there. Or was he? Nah, I'm way too old for him. I'm 34. He's 28. He's about to be 29. And I was like, there's a chance we could have overlapped. There's a chance. No, because he was at Oklahoma State first. Nah, there's no way. But, the crazy thing is, a lot of 49er fans and Deebo's age factors, and Deebo's not very young either. So we got Tyreek Hill, who's about to be 29 years old, and Deebo at some point in this season will turn 27, I believe. So, like, 49ers in the playoffs, like, Deebo will be 27. So I don't know if it's as far off as it seems with the age. I mean, I guess. But I do want to ask that. I mean, I do the 49er fans feel like Deebo is more impactful because he's a 49er player? Because, or are we saying that Tyreek Hill? I don't know. I'm reading because I'm reading the comments and it's like, it's almost kind of like, well, well, Tyreek Hill, he's 3-time first team All Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler, only been in the league 6 years. But Deebo, it's like, that's pretty impressive. And he was worth a late first and a mid second. And picked 35 and 38. I bet on the little chart, the Jimmy Johnson chart is probably similar trade value. And the second next year. Can't forget that. And the second next year. So here's one for y'all. Would you rather have and pick 10 for Deebo. Let's say again, this is hypothetical. That's what the news is. I know I hate this shit too, y'all. I hate it. But we come on this morning, we want to have some type of conversation, right? I appreciate all 180 of y'all in here right now. Ooh, here's a good one. Okay, Mike Shields. Hill's value is tied more to his QB than Deebo's is. I can hear that. Yeah, because I mean, you look at his rookie year, he was still Pro Bowl and first team All Pro as a rookie, but that was with Alex Smith. Now his targets were down, but let's see. His yards per reception were way down, 9.7. He still had 6 touchdowns. I don't know if it's. I don't know. I don't know if it's directly tied to the quarterback because, I mean, maybe because his yard per catch were way down. It was like down there, cut in half down there with Alex Smith as opposed to Patrick Mahomes. But he only had 83 targets as opposed to next year 105. It's a big difference, though. I don't know. I think it's always gonna be hard to tell with that. Or we're gonna find out this year. That's for sure. That's for sure. Deebo's skill set may match up better with Jimmy being inept. There's a case to that. So basically, essentially, what my guy Jesse is saying is Deebo wins right now off the line of scrimmage, and a lot of his winning is yards after catch, right? Where it's like, okay, let me run this slant real quick, catch the ball, and get upfield. And that's where he excels, right? I mean, we're talking about somebody had 18 yards to catch. That's crazy, especially since a lot of it's not the big ball. And that worked well with what our guy Jimmy Garoppolo excelled at, which was get the ball in his hands right now. Would Deebo be better suited to be in an offense that does push the ball downfield a little bit more, does have more vertically pushing routes? Would that still match up with Deebo's game? I'm assuming that's what my guy Jesse is saying. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, Jesse. Like, Jesse, are you saying you don't know if Deebo would fit the Chiefs offense or what they've done, right? Like, at least ideally what they want to do, or at least how they use Tyreek Hill. They use Tyreek Hill all over. One thing I think that gets overshadowed a little bit, sometimes when you do one thing extremely well, people forget some of the other things that you do. So let's talk about Travis Kelce, right? Travis Kelce is a tremendous pass catcher. And when you view Travis Kelce as a receiver, like, oh, he's a receiving tight end. Not knowing that Travis Kelce actually blocks very well. And you can flip that on to Deebo Samuel as well. Deebo Samuel, he likes to block. He likes it. It's like, he's an elite receiver at tight end as well, right? But because Kittle blocks so well, it's like, oh, he blocks so well. Like, no, that's what he does. Like, that's what he does well. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and he has to get schemed open by Kyle Shanahan. Like, no, George Kittle runs really good routes as well. George Kittle runs really good routes, but his route running gets overshadowed because of one, Kyle Shanahan. He can scheme anybody open, and two, he blocks so well. So it's like, oh, well, he's not as good of a receiver as these other tight ends, which is not true. It's not true. He's a terrific route runner. Talking about George Kittle, and I think when you look at Tyreek Hill and how it's like, oh, well, he's a product of his quarterback. Will Tyreek Hill do the same things in another whatever? Oh, he's a product of. If you watch if you just watch the games, they do whatever to get the ball in his hands. They get it to him behind the line of scrimmage. They get it to him on slants. They get it to him on crossing routes. They get it to him on deep routes. Like, he's not just like this, like, oh, he's just speed and Mahomes has a big arm. Like, not when you actually watch the game. When you watch the game, it's just like, oh, they got the ball in his hands again. Oh, they got the ball in his hands again. And it's scary. I mean, he's like this jitterbug. But he's like also the fastest person on the field. So I don't think Tyreek Hill is just a product of the offense. I don't think, or the quarterback, excuse me. I don't think so. But there is the question of what is Deebo Samuel without Jimmy Garoppolo? Still good, right? I mean, he's a hell of a football player. He's a hell of a football player, first and foremost. I think he'd be good wherever. But there are a lot of people that are like, oh, well, he did this and he did this with Jimmy Garoppolo. But I agree with Jesse here, where I think his skill set matches up extremely well with the strengths of Jimmy Garoppolo. To the point where if I'm Deebo Samuel, I don't want Trey Lance. I want Jimmy G. I know I'm going to get off with Jimmy. Jimmy likes to snap that ball off right now. Just get the ball in my hands. Every once in a while, I run a deep crosser. Every once in a while, I run a deep dig. That doesn't seem right now like that's Trey Lance's strength. Not saying he can't do it. Can Deebo, and again, y'all tell me. I think this is what I think about Deebo. Aside from him being an elite football player, early on in Deebo's kind of career, it's still early in his career, so that's why I put that. I felt like looking at him, and if you go and you watch Deebo in college, watch Deebo like his rookie year, and just it's just what it looks like to me. And again, I could be wrong. It felt like Deebo was like a little. He was a little slimmer, like a little bit. So I don't know if the extra kind of weight is, or we're going to use him at running back. So let's like have him, add a little bit more girth to his body. But if you just look at Deebo like his rookie year, and you look at him, it hasn't taken away from explosiveness at all. I mean, like this dude's one of the most explosive receivers in the NFL. Has it affected like just the route running a little bit? Now, again, you don't have to be this big time route runner. And on the Locked On Draft show last night, we had our guy Deontay Lee, and he talked about that. Like fans get enamored with like route running, like separation, like all this. And those are the clips that go viral and stuff like that. And it's like, well, yeah, okay, you can win that way. Cool. You don't have to. I think Deebo Samuel, AJ Brown, like they prove that. But looking at Deebo and how he wins, and he wins like that at high level, 1,400 yards, and he really easily could have had more. It was almost like they stopped throwing him the ball the second half of the season. Deebo could have easily had 1,800 yards receiving, I thought. And maybe a quarterback change can do that for him. All right, but I do think that there is like this element of, it's like Deebo isn't quite as light on his feet at like the top of routes and things like that. Because you watch him as a rookie and you watch some of the things he's doing, you watch how he look, you watch the like elusiveness and the shiftiness and the craftiness off of the line of scrimmage. You look at that, him going back in college too, look at clips of the Senior Bowl, and it's like, damn, he looks a little different. Have y'all noticed that? Or I don't know. And not in a bad way. Because again, it doesn't matter. You don't have to win that way. I'm just saying, I'm just comparing and contrasting like when Deebo first came into the league as opposed to like kind of what he is now. Which is, hey, let's say you can make the argument he's a better football player now than he was when he came into the league. I think he was always going to be great. He's always going to be a good football player. I think this is one of the good ways to put it as well. Deebo is a generational athlete and deserves a huge payday. As said, there are those teams that might give up more money and draft than he's worth. Hold on, Mike. So, Mike, we can't say he's a generational athlete and he deserves a huge payday and then turn around and say that people might give him more money than he's worth. How much is it worth to you to have a generational athlete who deserves a huge payday? That's I don't know. I want to know, Mike, how much is it worth to you? Because you said they might pay him more than he's worth. I think he's worth whatever, like he's worth everything, right? He's worth everything. Remember, I talked about it yesterday. I was like, hey, he is like 5 players, right? Deebo is 5 players. There are a lot of people that are like, one player. I'm sorry, didn't know the 49ers win with one player. And it's like, well, Deebo's not one player. He's 5. He's your receiver. He's your running back. He's your quarterback throwing touchdowns and must-win games to get into the playoffs. He's your kickoff returner when need be. I don't know, 50-yard kickoff return in the playoffs. And he's your defense because all the things that he does keeps your defense off of the field and keeps some pressure off of them with the amount of touchdowns that he's scoring, which was 14. So Deebo ain't just one player. How much is that worth to you? What's an overpay for that? 4 years, 71 million guaranteed. Now, I think that would get the job done. But where are the 49ers in the sense of what they're trying to offer him guaranteed? How far apart are they? Because I agree, $71 million, that'll probably get the job done right now. But the 49ers are offering, I don't know, 60 million or 50 million or something like that. And it's like, bro, I just saw what Diggs and these guys are getting. All right, 49ers, how much is it worth to you to have 5 players in one? Fans love their team, but will have no issue if the front office screws their favorite player, and yet they get mad if their players play hardball. We saw it with DeForest Buckner. Now, obviously, with Buckner, there wasn't that like lead up of talking about it, right? Like this wasn't something that we knew was even a possibility with DeForest Buckner until the reports that morning were like, 49ers might be making a big trade. There might be somebody big moving, and everybody's like, what? Like who? What are they talking about? Somebody on the 49ers, a big player moving? Like what? DeForest Buckner. And then, oh, well, they got 13th overall pick. Okay, I get it. Oh, they won't play him. And then all of a sudden, it's like everybody just kind of pushed DeForest Buckner out the door. It's like, what the hell's your best player on defense? Arguably, I mean, Nick Bosa was a baller too. What I want to know now is, and I'm going to bring y'all on, what is the draft capital? Come on live. Y'all already know what to do. What is the draft capital for a Deebo Samuel? Because everybody has a price. All right. So we're doing this understanding everyone has a price. So what is, and when I say that, I mean a price you could trade for. Again, we learned that with DeForest Buckner. So it's not out of left field to possibly see a Deebo Samuel. Like, all right, if you were to see a Deebo Samuel, you wake up tomorrow morning, Deebo has been traded. On a scale of 1 to 10, how surprised would you be? Understanding how the 49ers do business, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Would I want it? Hell no. Do I think there's any amount of draft picks that can like make me feel happy about it? No. I think he does too much. But for conversational purposes, Deebo's traded. What are the 49ers getting for him? And what do you do with those picks? So we got Medic Mike up first. All right. We got our guy, Eric Milner, super heated. I'd be heated as well. The rest of the NFC West, they might have a different reaction to it. They might be a little happier. Medic Mike, man, good morning.
What's happening? 10K subscribers. Let's go.
I'm saying, let's go. I was excited when I saw that.
Yes, sir. One thing, let me clarify my position on, I said that Hill's value is tied more to his quarterback than Deebo's. So what I mean by that is Hill is your Lamborghini. Now, with Patrick Mahomes, you have access to the Autobahn. You got no speed limit. You can go as fast as you want. You go put Hill over in Miami, and, for your frame of reference, now he's in Stockton. You ain't going to be able to open it up as much as you want.
Hold on. Is that like a shot at the 209? Hold on.
No,
that like
what all I'm saying is you don't have that wide open street. I mean, there's messed up streets out there, potholes. We know what's up. Let's keep it real. And so you're not gonna be able to you ain't gonna be able to open it up and really see his full potential. So that's what I mean. Whereas Deebo, he's that same car with off-road tires and a push bumper. And so if you need him to hop a couple curbs and do some more messy stuff, he's better at that. So I think he can adapt better to any situation, and you'll be able to see more of his value and less of a sliding scale based on his situation than Hill.
Hold on. So are you saying that, let's say 49ers, all of a sudden 49ers traded for Tyreek Hill and Jimmy Garoppolo is still the quarterback? You don't think that Tyreek Hill, you think like if you gave Deebo and Tyreek Hill equal opportunity, let's say you split their targets or touches right down the middle, and you ran the exact same plays, right?
With
Let's
Jimmy
say first half of the
Garoppolo,
season,
Deebo's more effective
Yeah.
with Jimmy Garoppolo. Yes.
I
Yes.
have to. Okay, listen. I'm not saying Deebo's not. I'm not saying Tyreek Hill is more effective in that. But I'm not. But I don't know if there's as much of a difference as, because when you watch Kansas City, and again, I think in our head we see the highlights, right? Like in our head we see the big play. We see Tyreek Hill running past guys and Mahomes airing that hole out, right? Like that's what we see on the highlights. But when you actually watch the game, they do all the things that you see Deebo, aside from, oh, we're just gonna have him run through the AB gap. Aside from that, Kansas City did all those same things with Tyreek Hill at a high level too.
They did, but they had the threat of Mahomes. They always respected Mahomes and they respected Tyreek Hill's speed. So if you were to ask me that same question and you said now with Trey Lance, I might change my answer. I might change my answer, because don't forget, Deebo we talked about, you mentioned earlier that with Trey, Deebo might not have that same type of season. Well, it's hard to have that same type of season anyway. But he had 2 40-plus touchdowns with Trey who only started 2 games. He had one against Seattle and the other one against the Texans. So I think it just shows a whole new dynamic of what he can do. And I think there's less of a sliding scale with Deebo based on the situation than there is going to be with Tyreek. Now, I might be wrong, but we definitely going to find out with Tua over in Miami and see. Because when you look at Jalen Waddle,
timing, rhythm, and things like that, Waddle was turned into a slot machine.
Exactly. And I look at Jalen Waddle as more in the same mold as Tyreek Hill. And they were I think his average yards per reception was like under 10 or something like that. I mean, he was like 10 yards, 10 catches, 70 yards.
And the interesting thing is, and I'm looking at Tyreek Hill's rookie year, and obviously he didn't have 100 catches like Waddle did, but his rookie year, he averaged 9.7 yards per reception. So
he made it as a returner.
Well, no, I know he made it as a returner, all pro. But I'm saying his receiving yards, he averaged 9.7, which was probably the same as Jalen Waddle. Now with Waddle, I know a lot of people, at least when I asked about it to the Miami Dolphins fans, things like that, a lot of it was, oh, well, the quarterback doesn't have enough time to even push the ball down the field. So they had to kind of revert to using him in that way. They did address the offensive line. They got Teron Armstead from the Saints. He's a terrific left tackle. They got another guy in there. I think he's a guard in free agency. So we'll see if that helps Tua be able to push the ball down the field. Because I will say this about Tua. As much as he's gotten gets clowned on and things like that, I thought he did everything at Alabama. I thought he pushed the ball down the field well. I thought he made all those throws. I mean, he was a high RPO guy, and they've done some of the things with the Dolphins, but I don't think that's all he has to be. So we're going to see if we can see Tua kind of take it to the next level as well.
True, and I think that's going to be a big part of it. And I think that's I think going to, for me, confirm either what I'm saying, or I'll be like, hey, maybe I was wrong. Maybe he's better than I thought. But when you talk about trade,
trade value. So what is inappropriate? Knowing what the Jets offered and really what the Miami Dolphins got for Tyreek Hill, right? The Jets offered pick 35, 38 in a second the following year. Miami, they traded 29 and 51, which essentially on the trade value chart is probably the same as 35 and 38 and whatever else. So what do you think Deebo gets? Again, got to go back to Tyreek Hill's track record, because a lot of 49ers fans are pushing back on the biggest, I guess, gripe I hear from the fans when it comes to Deebo Samuel is, well, can you do it again? Can you do it another year? I think so. But one thing we do know about Tyreek Hill, he has done it every year, right? 3-time first-team All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler in 6 years. So knowing that and what they traded away for him, what is Deebo Samuel's trade value worth?
I need 2 firsts.
2 firsts.
I need 2 firsts because Deebo is 3 years younger than Tyreek. The more you age, the more your value drops. I mean, you're a depreciating asset, not to speak at the players in terms of just a commodity, but that's how the
In the sense of
owners
how they're viewed from the owners and stuff. Yeah.
exactly. That's how they're going to look at you're a depreciating asset. Now, and for the record, pay Deebo, get that man his money. Like
Right.
I'm all for, get your money, man, get your money. So I would need two first because he can do everything. And like I said, I don't think it's a sliding scale with him. He's going to be dynamic in any offense with any quarterback. You can put him in any position, and you have to key in on him. You have to key in on him. He has speed, he has explosiveness, he has size, and he shows up. He can return. He can do everything. So you're talking about a 26-year-old who's kind of, in a way, almost redefined what he does. He's almost like the reverse Marshall Faulk, where Marshall Faulk, or I mean, even the original Marshall Faulk, Roger Craig, where, you know, running back, but great receiver, 1,000. Deebo's almost like the reverse of that. You know, he had almost, 1,000 yards through 9 games. And I keep hearing people talk about, yeah, but as a receiver, honestly, if they would have kept throwing him the ball and feeding him, he would have challenged Cooper Kupp for the receiving yard title by the end of the year. So, I mean, let's not get it twisted.
His targets dropped off towards the end of the year. There were some games where he was getting 1 or 2 targets.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, I mean, let's not forget what kind of pace he was on. And so, looking at that, I need 2 firsts. He's way too valuable, and that's how I view Deebo. I need 2 first-round picks because you don't just go find and just go replace a Deebo.
Right. And again, and you're not just replacing a receiver. Like I said, you're replacing 5 guys because that's the amount of impact he has as a receiver, as a running back, a guy that can throw a touchdown pass, as a returner, and how he helps out the defense as well. So you want 2 first-round picks. We'll say
I want 2 first-round picks.
All right, so we're gonna look right now, and I have some guys in kind of waiting as well, and we'll kind of pose the same question to them. Let's say, the Jets. Do you want pick 10?
What pick? They have 10 and 35?
Yeah, but they're not going to give up 10 and 4. So it'll be 10 this year, and then their first round pick next year, I'm assuming. So
and the first round pick next year has the value of a second round pick this year. So you give me 10 and 35. All right, we can talk. That's where we can start talking. You know what I'm saying? But that it's going to take something like that.
So let's say 10 and 35. So now the 49ers have 2 or 1 first round pick. They pick 10th overall. And you know them, they like to move around. So maybe they might turn that 10th overall pick to another pick. All right. But all right, 10th overall pick and pick 35. What do you do that makes you feel comfortable with what you just traded away? What do you do at 10? What do you do at 35?
I ain't comfortable giving Deebo away.
I know, but let's say Deebo's like,
right.
I'm removing all my 49er stuff, and I'm never putting it back up because y'all disrespected me too much, and I won out. Which that doesn't come off as Deebo to me, but again, I don't know him personally. But he don't want. So now you had to trade him, just like DeForest Buckner, right? It was like, hey, y'all go out, you can fetch good compensation, and okay. And then he's like, oh, here's the 13th overall pick, and it's like, damn, we don't want to trade him, but okay, 13th overall pick, cool. So you got the 10th overall pick and pick 35, but now you have no Deebo Samuel. So what do you do to help your team? We know the holes that the 49ers have. We know that there's an opportunity at tackle, edge, wherever else you feel. Receiver now. So what do you do at pick 10?
So my draft plan would be, I like best player available, but I would look for the best. At 10, you can get a premier player. I look for the best edge or the best tackle. I personally am not sold on McGlinchey's health. So I would look at if you can get like a Jermaine Johnson or you can get one of those top tackles there, I would do that. And at 35, now I'm looking at a receiver because I think at the top of the second, that's where you can get a Christian Watson or I personally like dude from Penn State, Dotson, a lot. I mean, maybe you can even package that up, move up, and go get a Chris Olave. And so that's what I would do. I would, 1, replace him with a speedy receiver, a good receiver, and then in that number 10, I'd go for tackle or edge because you're not going to get the premier position of that at 35. You're going to have to go really high to get a premier player at that position to where you can get a premier receiver at 35 or at least be within striking range to go get one.
All right, so we're saying Jermaine Johnson at 10, edge rusher out of Florida State, and at pick 35, Christian Watson. And you're like,
Yes.
all right, I didn't want to trade Deebo, but I like what we did to replace him.
Yeah, because now you're putting someone on the opposite end that's going to be another bookend on the opposite side of Bosa. And there might be a less acclimation phase when you're bringing in Watson, who's already played with Lance. I mean, we've seen that a lot, with Waddle and Devontae Smith and Jamar Chase. I mean, you've seen that acclimation period when quarterbacks
just having that rapport.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and not to mention his skill set's pretty dope.
All right, man. Medic Mike says he feels great about trading Deebo Samuel.
No,
I'm joking. Hey, I appreciate you coming on, Medic Mike.
All right, Croc.
All right, like, this is a very uncomfortable conversation. But again, y'all know me. I want to talk football. Right now, it's the offseason. So what do we talk about? All right. These are all hypothetical. And again, it's not something that's just like, oh no, that would never happen. Shit happened a couple years ago with DeForest Buckner. So it can definitely happen. Will it happen? I don't think so. I wouldn't put money on it. But you never know. Guys start to get a little disgruntled and stuff. You never know. Got my guy Javon coming on now, real quick. Shout out to my guy Double B Studios. You know, Mike Daniels calling Kyle every day. I know, right? I think he is too. Javon, it's a very uncomfortable conversation. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Can you hear me?
All right. Yeah, very uncomfortable conversation for everyone. But 49ers, you wake up and you see Deebo Samuel's traded. What do you think that compensation is? Who do you think traded for him? And what do you do with those picks?
I mean, I gotta take 2 first at least. With something on top of that. I mean, probably like a fourth or something on top of it. You gotta get some equal compensation for what he's done this year. Like, this is what these guys are expecting when they're reaching out to the 49ers and saying, hey, what y'all trying to give up for Deebo? It's because of what he did this year, man. So, and what he did this year was sensational. So I just feel like his trade value is through the roof right now. I mean, you can't really question it. So at least two first round picks. But then again, I don't think anybody really has any players that can give back that type of value that Deebo's bringing. Like, out of this draft, I don't see any receiver in this draft that's doing what Deebo did. I don't see a receiver in this draft doing what, like being on Jamar Chase level or like a Justin Jefferson or anything like that. So, I mean, I get it. All these receivers in this draft are fast, but I don't know if they're going to be what, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Deebo, or, AJ Brown maybe. I don't see anybody doing anything like up to that value. So
I think there are guys that are good. And I think there are guys that could potentially be that type of receiver. Now, will they? I think that's the big question. And you lean more towards no, right? Like you lean more towards you're not going to be Justin Jefferson, who has over 3,000 yards in his first 2 years, or you're not going to be Jamar Chase, who have over 1,400 yards in his first year. Like more than likely, you're not going to be that with a receiver coming into the NFL. But in this scenario, we wake up and he's traded. So you said 2 first. And let's see. We went with the Jets last time, but let's look at another team that could be interested in the services of a Deebo Samuel. Let's go the Washington Commanders. They want to trade. They got to pay Terry McLaurin. Okay, we're not going to go there. Let's go Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens are like, all right, we want somebody that can match the game of Lamar Jackson. We could utilize him all over the field. Quick hitters, those type of things. So the Baltimore Ravens at pick 14, you get that pick from them, and let's see where they're picking the second. Hold on. I'll look at that. But right now, we got the 14th overall pick. So what are you doing with that pick from Baltimore?
Possibly trade down just a little bit, grab Christian Watson.
No, you got to
And
pick there. You got to pick there. You
got to
got to
pick
pick there
there.
though. Yeah.
Maybe either right tackle or right guard. I mean, even that's kind of risky. I mean, it's pick 14, so you really want to get someone with that. Maybe a safety, but I'm trying to think like how the Niners would think, like on how they would pick. I really like George Odom and Hufunga at safety, so probably not that. Maybe an edge. Maybe I'll have to go edge. Get a good, really good edge rusher. I haven't looked at too many mock drafts, but yeah, we'll have to take the best edge available there.
All right. Now I'm gonna try to see what edge rusher would be there and right now I'm kind of just simulating a mock draft. So we'll see kind of how it plays out. Let's see. I picked 14. What edge is there? So they had Jordan Davis go.
I like Christian Watson. I don't think I want to take Big Red at
Jermaine
14.
Johnson. So the edge rushers that will be available at 14 is George Karlaftis, Boye Mafe, which I don't think any of those are worthy of the 14th overall pick.
Man,
Arnold Ebikidi, he went second round. David Ajabo, he went second round. Cameron Thomas, he went second round. These are now second round edge rushers.
we might have to get a receiver then. It's just to replace.
Yeah, 14 makes it a little stickier. Yeah. I'm not seeing Baltimore in the second round. They might not have a. Oh, here they are. They got pick 45 in the second round. So the 49ers would now have pick 14 overall, pick 45 in the second round, and pick 61.
That's so tough. I mean, there'd have to be more picks than just that first and that second, because like I said, this draft class doesn't seem like they can bring back these really elite values. It's definitely got a whole lot of great, really good players with good potential, but I don't think there's anybody that's actually someone that's going to be great. Like,
well, I think it's just hard to get somebody great like that. I mean, at 14, it starts to you can get really good football players. I mean, that's clear. Yeah. Who could you get where you project that, right? Like, let's say Justin Jefferson. Was Justin Jefferson ever projected to have over 3,000 receiving yards his first 2 years? I would say no, right?
Probably not.
But if you can grab somebody that you feel like fits what you want to do, and all right, we can have this guy excel. And I saw somebody in the chat say, well, it doesn't have to be a Deebo Samuel replacement. It doesn't. It could be somebody that's just, hey, this receiver is just hella good. My favorite receiver in this class is Jameson Williams. I would love Jameson Williams to be a 49. I know he's just coming off of a torn ACL. I don't care about that.
We get him at 14, you think?
Yeah, let's see where he went in this mock. He went 19th overall to the Saints.
Okay. Yeah, we could maybe land that. I wasn't sure if he was going to go top, 12 or something like that. But yeah, if he's
now,
there, we can get him.
Now you potentially can go offensive line, and at 14, if you want to tackle, who I really like, you got Trevor Penning out of Northern Iowa. He's really good. So if you're, and he probably, I'm pretty sure, could play guard as well. So you look at that as a situation where it's like, all right, we have a guy, he can come in and play right guard. We could figure out what's going on with McGlinchey. We could put in, if McGlinchey is hurt or whatever, he can't play, then Trevor Penning can play right tackle. He could play left tackle, right tackle, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So then at pick 14, I mean, not pick 14, excuse me, now it's second round. So let's say, hypothetically speaking, we pick Trevor Penning. And then second round, let's see who's available second round. 1 second. All right, so second round, there's Jalen Petrie goes, Christian Watson goes. I think that's like, you talk about pick 45, that's like kind of prime Christian Watson range. George Pickens. George Pickens is available. He's an alpha. I think George Pickens is going to have a terrific NFL career.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we could definitely go him, and then use that next second pick to probably get either like a center or someone else on the O lineman. But yeah, probably go with Pickens, and then maybe use that next pick. I'm looking at probably like someone like Donovan West for the next pick after that, and
All right, yeah,
that's
center.
seems like somebody that seems like a 3 picks right there that can be
All right, so you're saying Trevor
replacement.
Penning, Donovan West, Christian Watson.
Yeah.
Not bad. All right, Javon, I'm gonna get you on. I got another caller coming on, man. I appreciate you.
Hey, appreciate you,
Appreciate you
Crocker.
coming on.
Shout out to you. You got that 10K on subscribe, so
Oh,
appreciate you on that. You always
shout out to
doing your thing.
y'all, man. Y'all the ones that subscribe, man. So I
You doing
appreciate
your
that.
thing, man. Props to you.
All right, man. You have a good one.
All right.
All right, here we go. Got a caller coming on, but first, my guy Eddie. I agree. 2 firsts for Deebo. I don't think the 49ers trade him. The closer we get to the draft, the less likely they are to trade. I think 49ers get it done. They got to get it done. And one other thing to kind of preface here, like you are extremely, extremely, extremely early in the process of re-signing a guy, right? Like, has anyone from that class, anyone been signed yet? Re-signed? Has anyone from that 2019 class been re-signed? Hell, we've been spending a lot of time talking about Deebo Samuel. There's another guy from that class the 49ers have first round, and then they drafted first round. That's Nick Bosa. And you haven't heard a peep out of it. Now, obviously, they have the 5th-year option as well. But Nick Bosa was the number 2 overall pick. Haven't heard anything about it. Why is Deebo more? Why is he more pressed to get it done? Again, the other guys, I wouldn't. Me personally, if I'm Deebo Samuel, I wouldn't even react this way right now. I would wait and see, like, man, what does DK get? What does AJ Brown get? What does Terry McLaurin get? And depending on what those guys get, then all right, I just wait it out. I wouldn't remove everything. And maybe it is a negotiation tactic. Maybe it's got us talking about it. And if we're talking about it, maybe it makes the front office a little bit uneasy. But I wouldn't be too pressed about it yet. I would just be chilling on the beach in Miami, doing my thing, working out, getting in shape, partying that night. I'd be doing that, chilling. You know what I'm saying? And then, all right, eventually, we'll get it done. But I don't even want to rush to get it done. I want to wait to see what those other guys get. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, the 49ers offered them $50 million guaranteed. And you're like, what? I want $70 million guaranteed, $71 million guaranteed. All right, but you know what? Y'all want to give me 50, I want 70. Let me just wait and see what DK Metcalf gets. Let me wait and see what AJ Brown gets. Let me wait and see what Terry McLaurin gets. And whatever those guys get, I need a little bit more than that. Guaranteed off rip. So I would play it that way. I wouldn't even be stressed about it right now. I'm also not the one trying to negotiate millions of dollars. Right? I'm talking on a podcast where I ain't making millions. But yeah, I hear you. The less likely it gets closer to the draft. I don't know. I think this thing is gonna ride out. I don't think there's truly an issue in-house with the front office. I think Deebo is just like, y'all tried to play me. Trade Deebo, and in return, take Jimmy with you. Just kidding. But no, we need Deebo to compete in the West. I just bought his jersey, but I spend picks on D. I like it. That's a good one. And I put the link in there. Someone had asked for the link. I did put the link in the chat, so make sure y'all tune into that. I know that's the tough part. Like, I don't even buy jerseys. That's why I don't buy jerseys. I'll buy a hoodie. I'll buy a t-shirt. Like, it's hard to buy jerseys because these dudes be going. These dudes be going. Here we go. Secure your YouTube account, Croc. I got hacked for 6.5 thousand subscribers last week by a hacker. Oh, my Lord. Don't even put that bad juju in here. I got to take that down. Here we go. Coming on now. I got my guy Swan Song. Good morning, man. How you doing?
Up, so we're just talking fun here, right? I don't want to get.
We're just talking fun. Don't nobody take it too serious. Yeah. Eric wants to trade. That's what I don't want to see on social media.
Yeah.
Do you know how often my tweets get taken out of context? Like, there was this person that was like, I wouldn't even take anything Croc said serious. I wouldn't take any of his takes serious. He said he compared Nick Mullins to Mac Jones. And I'm like, that's not what I did. But if you on Twitter, if you're not ultra clear with your take, and that's why I like this show, because I can really explain things and like talk it out. But if you're not ultra clear, they will spin this stuff and turn it into something where it's like that's not exactly what I meant. You know what I'm
Yeah, they
saying?
try to put you in a
So,
corner.
we want to make it clear. I don't think either one of us right here, right now, talking, or anyone that's come on is pro trade Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, like I see it this way. We're all just, I mean, this is the first thing I thought of when, because it's boring right now. So once I heard, well, Deebo might get traded, there's nothing I can do about it. So let's say if he does get traded, right? So you walk down that path. Because if you go, okay, he signs, okay, then that doesn't move the needle for me because I know he's already with the team. So that as far as from a fan's perspective, you look, okay, there's nothing I can do about if he gets traded or not gets traded. So let's say if he does get traded, what would that look like?
Which is possible.
Yeah,
right?
which is totally possible.
Because people shoot it down as if it's something that just can't happen. But we saw them trade DeForest Buckner, like in his prime.
Yeah, and look at how this postseason has played out. This is like the craziest postseason I ever remember. Like with all this movement, with this movement in free agency, have you ever seen anything like it? Like I haven't. It's like just when I thought it was done, it was still halfway going through it. Like I was like, even like when Russell Wilson got traded, I was like, wow, like if that happened, and then Watson, like you name it. So okay, so I think what the Jets could offer, right? I think what the 49ers I think would be willing to get because they have the option of just Deebo playing his contract, right? And then trying to renegotiate with him again in the offseason, right? Like they still have that option. So to them, the 49ers are not desperate to get something, right? Like it's going to have to be sweet for them, right? And to me, how I see it, like I did a mock of this and I pasted in private if you can bring it up, if you want to bring it up. But it turns out I end up trading him for 10 and 38, right? I also did some more fun, and this might be unrealistic, but a 23 second for Jimmy from the Panthers. That's it. But I'm not sure. I know people might go, oh man, you're dreaming with that. But you never know, man. If Panthers don't pick a quarterback at 4, which I don't think they will, are they just gonna roll with Sam Darnold?
I think everything that's come out is that they're not happy with whatever's going on with Sam Darnold. Now here's the issue: they picked up his 5th-year option, and that's guaranteed. So they're kind of in a sticky situation here,
right?
Where if you cut him, I mean, you could cut him, but you got to eat that $18 million. So if you trade for a guy like Jimmy and have to re-sign him, maybe that would kind of alleviate some cap for this year. And that's a possibility.
Okay.
Is that what it would take for you?
Yeah, something like, I mean, that's fine.
You have to extend them, though. You got to extend them. So
you have to extend them.
You just kind of make it to where it's not maybe, let's say this year, you do it to where, okay, we trade for Jimmy. We cut up his whatever he had this year, which was 27 million or whatever, 25 million, whatever it is. All right. So all right, let's rework it to where we give you this signing bonus and we only pay you $7 million this year or $10 million. So now instead of 27 million plus 18, we're only paying you a total of $28 million between 2 quarterbacks. But Jimmy still gets his money.
Yes.
Because there's signing bonus. And you push, and then he averages 24 million over the next 3 years or something like that. Do you think that's something that could work?
Yeah, I think that's something that could work. I mean, you have to think if you're Don Yee and Jimmy right now, that there's not a lot of life rafts left, right? Like if you want to play for a decent team, or if you want to even be a starter, right? Without some crazy thing happening during the season that someone gets hurt and you land on that team. But how does that look for Jimmy? Because if you do that, if you go take a risk and go, hey, you know what? We're just going to sit here. If the 49ers cut us, we're just going to sit here and wait and see a team needs us. But how is Jimmy going to look that year? Because remember, Jimmy, whatever he's doing right now is going to be seen as what Jimmy is, right? So he has to play good, in other words. And if you're going to a team that just got injured, meaning you're going into a system that you don't know, most likely, how's that going to look? How's that going to look for him producing? And then because he's auditioning for his future right now. Like that's like if anything has been sobering to Jimmy and Don Yee is that, dude, there's not a lot of chances left that we have, and the we're going to be severely judged on what we do in the next, season, right? So with all that said, it ends up after I doing some wheeling and dealing on PF mock draft, right? And I do all the fake trades fair. I don't force them or anything like that. So I end up with 18, 20, right? 38.
Wait. How you end up with 18, 20, and how do you?
Okay, so I get 10 and 38 from the Jets.
Okay, for Deebo.
Okay, yeah, for Deebo, and I think you could be.
Hold on, because we got a Jets guy in here. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Hey, Jets gang.
Oh,
so Jets gang, I need you to respond to
anything.
No, but I just want to Jets
Yeah,
gang.
yeah.
He's
I
in
hear
there.
you.
He's gonna Jets gang is gonna. You know what, Jets gang, come on live. If you could come on live, because I want Jets gang and you to negotiate. So you'll be John Lynch and he'll be Joe Douglas. All right, Jets gang, can you come on live? You don't gotta show your face. All right, you can come on just how he is, and I want y'all to talk through this trade together. All right, like I want y'all to negotiate this trade and see if y'all can get something worked out. So Jets gang, please come on live. So let's see. Hopefully Jets gang comes on because I want y'all to negotiate. It's like, real talk. It's not just like, oh, well, the Jets would take Deebo for 10 and 38. I want to know what Jets gang thinks. So if he's pushed back on that, and I would like y'all to negotiate with each other. He knows what picks they have. We know what picks 49ers have. So hopefully he comes on. Please come on. Real quick, while we're waiting for him to come on, I did see my mama in here. Where she's at? There she at. Here she goes. Hello, mama.
And yeah, so another thing. Oh, what you guys said about Deebo and how Deebo's kind of impatient and Bosa's not. Well, think about a Bosa, right? He comes from a family of money, right? Like his dad played ball, his brother makes a gazillion, so that's an experience, right? So he's getting coached probably by all this, or he's getting guided, right? Where Deebo, like, I don't know if he came for money or not. I think there was a story that he didn't, right? So it's like, it's understandable how he can be more desperate. You know what I mean? Like, as far as like how he feels, like I'm sure Parag and the FO gave him some figure that was probably disrespectful. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like where he feels like it's disrespectful, right? Because this is probably his first contract he's negotiated, right? Ever, right? Because the rookies, when you come in as a rookie, you don't negotiate anything because it's all paid by scale, right? You already know what you're going to get. So, given that, it's like, it's like, it would be easy for him to fall in like, man, I got to take care of mine. And, this type of wealth, it doesn't come easily, right? So it's like, and then especially in the NFL, and especially as his position, right? So it's like he did all that stuff. He's given his heart. He's produced, like, and Parag probably came in with 16 million or some crazy thing like that. Because Parag reminds me of the guys, like, of course, when you go shopping for a car, like when I used to shop for a car when I was a kid, like, 19, 20 or whatever, I'd go in by myself, no plan other than what my brothers tell me, oh, don't pay too much, blah, 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 blah. Right? I go in there and I remember at the first place, I was there for 6 hours, right? Because they're playing that bull crap, right? Where they bring in you talk to the salesman and he goes, oh, let me talk to my general manager. And you play this song and dance. They try to keep you in there as long as you can, right? Because now you feel some type of like invested time in there, and that's how they get you, right? And then like they always come with some crazy deals, right? And you're like, no, dude, I'm not gonna pay that. I go, I'm a kid, I'll sit here, but I'm not dumb. You know what I mean? Like you got me messed up, right? But so I think Parag's like one of those guys where he just comes in and he just, gives you really bad news, right? And that's as far as negotiation, that's probably the way to go, right?
You need that guy. Everybody needs that guy because if it was Eric Crocker, I just pay the guys whatever. right? Then we would never have any cap
Yeah.
space.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's not an easy job, right? To be that guy. But
Hold on, we got Jets gang in the chat. Jets gang, I see you in the chat. We just want you to come on and just argue for the because I wanted to be realistic. He's saying he wouldn't give up a first round pick. The Jets might not give it up either. But if they're not willing to give that up, what are they willing to give up? Is it 35, 38? Is it 35, a future second? Like, what would you give up? Just so we can have like a realistic debate as opposed to me just saying, oh, yeah, they would take that or they would take that. So, yeah, we just want to hear like a Jet, or if there's any other Jets fans in here. Are there any other Jets fans in here that would want to come on and, just have a, you'll be Joe Douglas and our guy Swang Song would be Lynch. And just kind of have that back and forth, a natural conversation. So he don't want to come on, man. Our guy Jets gang don't want to come on. Are there any other Jets fans in here? So we can have a real conversation. Let's see. He don't want to come on. All right, so we'll just go with our original stuff.
okay.
You said that what do the Jets give up?
10 and 38.
10
Deebo,
and 38.
Right. And I still think that's fair in my opinion. But 10 and 38. And then we also get a second for Jimmy, a 23 second. Okay. So which I'm going to use the trade as well into this.
All right.
Right.
All right. So we got 10 and 38 this year, and a second in 2023. All right, go ahead.
Okay. So then with that 10, right, I'm going to trade down with that guy.
All right.
Right. Like I'm going to trade down with that guy. So I'm going to trade with who do I have? Oh, with the Steelers, right? Because there's, Steelers might not get Malik Willis. If they're in love with Malik Willis, their chances of getting him at 20, I don't know, maybe. But 10, probably a pretty good chance, right? So I trade with Steelers. They give me pick 10 and a 23 third round. Oh, wait, no, sorry. No. I'm sorry. I give them 20, right? I give them 10 and a 23 third round, and they give me pick 20, 52, and then a second in the third. In 2000, I'm sorry, I'm messing up. A second in 2023.
Oh, okay. Start over.
Okay.
So right now, let's start over from the point where the 49ers have 10, 38, and a second next year.
Okay. So we give 10 to the Steelers and our 23 third round pick.
All right. And so the 49ers moved it. Where the Steelers at 20?
Yeah, 20. So then the Steelers, they give to us pick 20, pick 52, and a 23 second round.
All right. So now the 49ers have pick 20, 38, 52, and 61.
Right. Okay. So then I trade with the Eagles, right? So, okay. And this is my reason why I picked the Eagles. So the Eagles right now have 2 first round draft picks, right? They had 3. They have 2 now. They're going to roll Jalen Hurts. We all know that, right? But they want to get healthier for next year, right? To accumulate as much draft capital for next year, right? So I'm going to take the 2 seconds that I have for 23, right? In 2023, right? The one from Jimmy and one from the Steelers, right? I give that to them. I give them pick 61, and I give them a 7th round 262. So they have, so for us, they're getting 3 second round draft picks, right? One this year, which is pick 61. And then they get a 23 second, right, that we got from Jimmy, and another 23 second that we get from Pittsburgh to get to 18. Okay. So now the Niners are,
and 2 seconds next year.
Yeah. And those are the seconds we just got with this draft. So we're not losing any capital in the future, right? Like we just lost that 1/3 that we did. So now we're left with pick 18, pick 20, pick 38, pick 52. Yeah, there you go. and then the rest is the same, right? And no 220, no 272 or whatever it is, which I think that pick doesn't even matter because this draft's supposed to be like really bottom heavy because of the COVID years and everything. So there's going to be a lot of UDFA guys that are going to be like within that. You just pick what you want, right? With the first pick on 18, I take Jermaine Johnson.
All right. I think he's going top 10, but for, conversational purposes. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just going through what the PF mock draft is giving me at that point, right? So it's like 18. And then with pick 20, you can decide on Penning or I like Linderbaum, man. I like that dude.
Well, I lean more towards the
tackle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you. I personally I'm not mad if someone picks Penning. Just put it that way, right? But I want to. I'm so sick of the.
I think it's more realistic that Linderbaum is there.
Yeah. And then another thing is I'm so sick of the 49ers having to switch centers every 2 years. Man, I want a center that's going to be with Lance for 10 years, man. You know what I mean? I want that.
All right, so with the 20th pick, we got Linderbaum. So where we at pick? Now you got 38 and 52.
Okay, so 38, I got Christian Watson.
All right.
And then 52, I really like 52. I don't know if you know the guy Tyler Smith.
Yeah, the tackle out of Tulsa.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, and he's a left tackle guard. I mean, he's a left tackle guard, but whatever. I know they say they project him more as a guard in the NFL because of his size. Because some people, it's weird. His measurements are weird because one draft says he's 6'4", and another one says he's 6'6". Dude, how can you be 2 inches off? What the? How does this happen?
I'll tell you right now what he is. Hold on. Tyler Smith. I'll tell you what he is right now. He is, and this is Tyler Smith out of Tulsa.
Tulsa, yeah. He's supposed to be the second best run blocker in this draft outside of Iquanu. Supposedly, that's what Pro Football Network says. But I don't know. I'd have to take my word. I mean, I know that he plays hard, and he was doing great. In his highlights. I mean, I don't know much about all that stuff. I just take other people's word for it.
Yeah, he's a really good prospect. All right. Yeah, no, he's 6'6". He's probably a little bit over, he might be a shade under 6'6", but 6'6", 332 pounds, 34-inch arms. That's what he measured in at the combine. There
you go. So then I bet Tyler Smith, I'm happy with that pick. Because if he can go play right tackle and guard, and the Niners, they love their versatility, right? And that guy's from what people are really like that guy because I know that in PF the PFN the mock or the PFT the mock draft that I used for this. I mean, he's projected at 70, but whenever you run the drafts, he goes way higher. He goes if you don't pick him by 50 something, he's gone. Right, he never drops.
All right, here we go. So hold on. Now we're gonna get a more realistic trade option here because we got Jets gang coming on. So here we go. Let me move myself to the bottom here. Well, I'll keep Jets gang there. Jets gang, good morning. Hello? I see you at work. You at work right now?
What's up, man?
What's up? Are you at work right now?
Huh?
I said are you at work right now?
Yeah. I'm on break now, though.
Okay, I was gonna say we don't want to get nobody fired on the show.
Yeah, that's why when y'all was saying get on there, I was like, I had to wait a few minutes till I took my break. You weren't gonna be able to hear me anyway.
Yeah. So real quick, if you're the New York Jets, one, are you interested in Deebo Samuel? You gotta start there. You are Joe Douglas right now.
Yeah, I'm sure he would trade for Deebo, but I don't think he'd give up pick 10.
So what are you thinking?
Huh?
So what do you think they'll give up?
I think they'll give up the same deal that they gave up for Tyreek Hill. 35, 38, and 69. That's basically more than pick 10 anyway. That's like
All right, so
I think it's like 50 points more than pick 10.
Again, you're negotiating right now with our guy Swan Song. So Swan Song, what the Jets are proposing right now is 35, 38, and what was the last pick?
69.
69. All right, so that's early third round. So Swan Song, how does that sound to you? 35, 38, 69.
I think at that price, it won't sell that well to 49er fans. That you're.
It's not about the fans. It ain't about the fans.
No. Well, they have to think about how it looks, right? Like if you're the front office, you got to think how it looks because people are gonna be pissed off that you got rid of.
But that's better than the Jets trade to the Chiefs for Tyreek Hill was better than the Dolphins trade. Tyreek Hill just wanted to play for the Dolphins.
You're saying
and like you said, on the value chart, those picks right there, 35, 38, 69, that's on the value chart, those points are worth more than the 10th overall pick.
Yeah, they traded 5 picks. We only had to trade 3 and still gave up more than what they was going to give up.
So you're telling me that what Miami gave up as far as you go by the point scale, the Jets actually offered more?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. If you throw in a 23 second.
I doubt they do that though, because like, say for instance, if like you traded with the Packers, you would get 20, 25 or whatever pick they got. The Jets 35 is close to.
Yeah,
23.
I get what you're saying. But we don't want to be trading them in division. Like, do you want to face Deebo in the playoffs? That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, I doubt we will want to do that.
So the thing is, okay, you guys need a linebacker?
Yeah.
How about you give me the 23 second, right? And this is not a 1-for-1. This is to make this deal work. And I'll give you Greenlaw. That I'm not. Don't try to get it where Greenlaw means that you want the second.
Saleh will have to like him enough for the Jets GM. I think the Jets GM, like, I think we ain't get Hill because he not gonna overpay for the deal. You get what I'm saying? I don't think he want to overpay. So he gonna.
I mean, that's not. If they're giving 35, 38, and 69. Dude, you're getting a product that is proven. Like, yeah, he had one elite season, but he was productive his rookie year.
But you gotta think we're gonna have to pay Deebo $25 million. We gonna have to pay him close to whatever he want. That's why I don't.
You got you came in here. You're supposed to change everything, right? But you guys haven't won more than 5 games under. I mean, I don't want to be disrespectful.
No, you good. Saying, I mean, it's true. We did.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. So, like, if he's got to make a splash, right? He's got to show that he's doing something because the Jets and draft picks, it hasn't always worked out, right? Because you need to get players to play there that want to play there, right? So why having with the Jets having so much equity as far as salary cap? Why hasn't they had made crazy signings?
I mean, I think
it's hard to get players to play there, right?
I don't think. See, basically, what the GM Joe Duck, he's not going to overpay a player to come to the Jets. He want a player to come to the Jets just because they want to play for the Jets. No, he might overpay $2 million, $3 million, but I don't think it's going to be like you going to pay the Jets tax.
I feel you there, but in this trade, you're getting a known commodity. You guys need some hype around the team. You need what's going to happen if
we did give up the second round
Wilson has a subpar season? dude, you think Jets you think the Jets fan base is gonna just go, oh yeah, we'll give him a third year? What is the normal thing that happens if Zach Wilson goes out and just has a like less than mediocre season? Even mediocre season, Jets fans will rip him up. Like you don't tell, like I bet you there's Jets fans already ripping him up.
Yeah, that's true.
So all I'm saying here is, okay, you're comfortable with 35, 38, and 69, right? I'm just saying, give me a second, I'll give you Greenlaw. And that's not 1-for-1 for Greenlaw.
I mean,
that's just to make the deal a little bit
fair.
sweeter,
I
and
would
I'm
do
making
that.
a deal. I'm trying to meet you in the middle.
But I don't know when we'll have to pay Greenlaw or nothing. But I would do that. That ain't bad.
Yeah, you don't have to really pay Greenlaw because he doesn't have the production that he's going to get crazy paid, right? He might get $4 or $5 million, but I mean, you guys have, as far as your salary cap stuff goes, you guys are healthy, right? You guys are super healthy. You got a rookie that's on his rookie deal. Like, who's the highest paid player there?
The Jets, we don't really have to pay.
It'll
Our
be
highest
Deebo,
paid player is CJ Mosley. Only players we got to play is him and Quentin Williams. Quentin Williams about to have to get a deal.
And then think about it this way. If you guys make a splash with Deebo, right? He's already familiar with the offense. It's a perfect fit. If you guys make a splash with Deebo, then you might get players in next year's free agency to come along. You can turn this whole program all around.
But what if the Jets just give up 10? What if if they don't want to give up 4 picks, they just say they'll give up 10? Would you just accept pick 10?
So now 10 and the second, right? Because we already said 32.
You probably wouldn't get 10 in a second.
I ain't gonna lie, Greenlaw's not worth a second. Like, you're not getting a second for a middle linebacker.
I'm not saying Greenlaw's not a second. It's not worth a second. I'm saying Greenlaw makes it where we can meet in the middle here. You know what I'm saying?
I think the meeting in the middle is trading picks 35, 38, 69, which are all worth the same amount of points as pick 10.
Yeah.
Right. But
it's
that's
actually
what I'm
50 points.
So would you rather have 35, 38, 69 or pick 10?
Okay, so if it's just those two things and we're not talking about getting another second, like, I don't know,
and you can't trade pick 10, hypothetically speaking.
Oh, you can't trade. Oh no,
you cannot trade pick 10.
No, hell no. At that point, I'm going. Like I'll roll with Deebo for the year, and I'll take my.
So you don't want 35, 38, 69 at, like, you don't want that. Because I'll tell you right now, your I don't know what to call them, your assistant GMs in the chat.
They're saying
take 35, 38, 39.
Yeah, no. Like I said, I'd rather have that than pick 10 if I can't trade it.
You can still trade those picks.
What?
You could trade the picks 35 and 38 to get
hypothetically speaking, for this debate, whatever you get in this trade, you have to keep that.
Okay.
No. I don't know, man. I don't know, because at 35, 38, 69, I'm not, my chances of landing a player that's actually going to do something, because in my other draft proposal, I just need to hit on one of them, man.
You got to think, though, Deebo was picked in the second round. So
Linderbaum and Watson
and
Smith. If I just hit on one of those guys and they're like elite, man, I won, right? I won that trade. That's how I see it. But if you're going to give me 35, 38, and what's it called, 69, and I can't trade them, man, that's a lot of.
That's a haul. And you have 61. And you have 61.
Yeah, I get it. But if I can't trade, sure, I could probably hit maybe one of those, but it's less likely, right? It's less likely. That's all I'm saying. Like, at that point, I'm keeping Deebo for the year, right? I'm keeping Deebo for the year, and we'll worry about a contract.
Deebo said, "I'm not showing up until I got a new contract."
Oh, come on.
Yeah, that
Deebo.
don't make sense.
Come on,
Deebo. Hold on. I'm not saying Deebo said that. Excuse me. Oh, let me clarify real quick. If I'm Deebo Samuel, and I know how Kyle Shanahan is utilizing me and all that, I'm not showing up until I have a new contract. You're not gonna beat my body up, running me through A gap, B gap, and all that other BS. Get the deal done. So
yeah,
you're saying,
wait,
oh, write it out with Deebo Samuel. If I'm Deebo, I'm not stepping on the field.
Okay, okay. Is he willing to get off his perch? What kind of Deebo are we getting here? Are we getting Deebo like well, I'm just
If
gonna
you
sit
pay
on my
him, you're
perch?
getting. If you pay him the 25 million per year
Okay, right?
and 71
And
million
50,
dollars, you're getting the Deebo
71
that you know.
guaranteed. Okay, so listen, Deebo. If we give you 71 guaranteed, that means that we value you more, 15 million more guaranteed than Trent Williams, right? 30 more than Fred Warner, and 50 more than George Kittle.
I
49,
mean, that was
48.
different though. The cap was different then than it is now. It went up, so it should balance out, right?
I mean, it went up, but it didn't go up into that type of inflation. Like, I get what you're saying. It went up, but from like Trent Williams
You
deal
don't
was
you don't value Deebo more than those guys? Like you do.
no.
Okay, here we go.
Okay,
Let's
okay.
say
Here, you know what I could say? Okay,
hypothetically speaking, there is no Trent Williams in the playoffs. Right? He wasn't there matter of fact,
yeah, and we lost.
week 18. Week 18. There was
Right,
no Trent Williams.
right.
Who
I don't
carried
want.
you?
Yeah, I
Who
get it.
carried you?
Yeah. Deebo definitely
Deebo.
carried us. Yeah, for sure.
Now you get to the
100%.
playoffs. Who carried you in the playoffs?
See, it's hard to show. It's hard to show like what a left tackle does, though. You get what I'm saying? Like it's hard. They don't get a lot of glory, right? It's hard. So it's hard to make that to say, hey, just put it this way: if Trent Williams was healthy against the Rams, I think that game looks a lot different, man. Because
Okay. Yeah.
I think the offensive line didn't play well, and I think it's because they probably kept on seeing Trent Williams get beat, and they probably lost confidence in all of themselves, right? Like if you're seeing the guy that's been dominating everyone, looking, I mean, he looked bad, man. But it's not his fault. I mean, he's hurt. He's playing hurt. He probably shouldn't have played. But how are you going to keep him out, right? Like,
All right, so hold on, because we're getting off track here.
again, no, but
Are
I feel
you taking? So Jets gang, 10 is off the table. He said 10 is off the table. He's not trade that, and he's saying that actually the other picks are worth more, but you can't trade the other picks. So now, so I can get y'all off, like not like get y'all off in the way. I mean, but like I know y'all got things to do. So right now, you have two options. And Jet gang, I'm actually gonna get you off. I know you're at work right now on your break. I appreciate you coming on, bro.
It's good.
Good talking with you, Jets gang.
All right, so what the offer is now for you? Okay, you have a couple options here. One, you can not pay Deebo and risk him holding out. Two, you can pay him what he wants, which sounds like 25 million, about 70 million guaranteed. Or three, you could trade him to the New York Jets for picks 35, 38, and 69. What are you doing?
I'm keeping Deebo.
Keep it, Deebo. All right, Swang Song. All right, I appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yeah, right on, man. That was fun.
All right, you have a good one.
You too.
That was fun. That was fun. I see my guy Smitty in the chat. He's like, hey, I'll come on. We gotta get out. We're going long right now, so I gotta get out here. I got some stuff I gotta do. But that was fun. We're going to do that some other like maybe. So today we had Jets guy come on. Maybe tomorrow I can have someone from a different fan base come on. No, I don't want to do that because this is me shopping Deebo Samuel, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm shopping Deebo Samuel or I want him out of here or that they're actually going to trade him. All I'm saying is, these guys are unpredictable. The 49ers front office, and when they traded DeForest Buckner, I feel like they trade anyone. Like everybody has a number. Everybody has a number. Like that. That's what I came away from once they traded Buckner. So Deebo, as much as we all love him, I think the fan base equally loves DeForest Buckner just as much. Am I wrong? You can tell me if I'm wrong. But DeForest Buckner was loved, and not just by the fan base, but by the organization, by his teammates. And he exemplified everything that you want. He exemplified everything that you want in your top 10 draft pick, and they traded him away. So what that told me is Everybody has a number. And is Deebo Samuel's number 35, 38, 69? That would be interesting because I tell you right now, especially with the 49ers having picked 61. Let's see, 35. Yeah. Tyler Smith goes at 41. That's a guy you could get. Sky Moore. You'd have a shot at Sky Moore. You'd have a shot at Christian Watson, George Pickens. You can go safety. Ooh, Roger McCreary. He could play the nickel. Jamari Sailor out of Georgia, interior offensive line. Nick Cross. I mean, there are a few players, and you have 3 picks in that second round. I don't know. We'll see. We're just having fun here. We're having fun here. Smitty says, nah, it's number 10. You know what, Smitty? Come on live. Hold on. Here we go. I'm a DM you, Smitty. You can talk some sense. I'm not ready to jump off yet, y'all. I'm not ready to jump off yet. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned right now. Keep it locked in here. We got 250 of y'all in here right now. Just DM'd you on Twitter, Smitty. Oh, I did have a super chat I didn't get to yet. My guy, Jaheim Rakim. Okay. Is that like Jaheim the singer and then Rakim the rapper? All right, that was corny, my bad. What would DK or AJ look like in Kyle's offense? Good. Good. People talk about DK. Oh, DK wouldn't be a fit. First of all, DK wins on slants. He wins on crossers. He can run stop routes because the threat of his speed vertically. Like, I don't know how anybody ever said he didn't fit in Kyle's offense. Like, how does that not fit? So, yeah, and A.J. Brown definitely does. He is very similar to Deebo Samuel in the sense of the way they win.
What's up, pal?
All right. You on live, baby. You on live.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to be John Lynch here. Not that John Lynch has a whole lot to say, but let's just pretend he did for a second. I mean, you can't give a team like the Jets, you can't let them keep their number 4 overall and let them keep their number 10 overall and give them Deebo Samuel out of pure, just principle. You can't. That's like a fantasy football when someone wants your very best player and they're not willing to give up their second best player, their third best player, their fourth best player. They just want everything. And there's no way, in my opinion, you can give that up. Like, Deebo's worth more than that. The Jets have been clamoring for a top wide receiver. We know that they're willing to overpay a little bit. And I think to let them accomplish this without touching either of those top 2, there's just no way. There's no way I would do it. And look, the Niners are the type of organization, as you know, Croc, very, very well, that they're not going to let anybody necessarily push them into something. And if they've got to tell Deebo, we'll talk about this later, and then just twiddle their thumbs and sit on it for a while until there's no options left, that's what the Niners would do. Like I always say on the Quad Box show, that the Niners are the kind of team that, like, John walks into Kyle's office and says, hey, let's talk about Deebo. And then John says, yeah, okay, it's Friday night, right? It's Friday night. Let's talk about Deebo. And then John says, yeah, let's talk about it Monday. And it's like, Monday? What do we talk about on Monday? These guys will literally sit on their hands, and I don't necessarily mean that in the worst of ways. Sometimes it's good that they're patient, and in this case it would be, but there's just no way I'm giving the Jets the 4, 10, and Deebo. There's just no way.
All right, so what would it be for you? So are you just taking just 10 straight up for Deebo?
Honestly, that's not what.
Because their GM in this situation, which was our guy Jets Gang, he was speaking for the Jets, right?
Yeah.
And he said, listen, those trades, those picks weren't on the table for Tyreek Hill. They're not going to be on the table for our guy Deebo. But let's say hypothetically speaking, like, all right, we can talk them into it. You're good with just trading Deebo straight up for number 10?
No, here's the recipe. And number one, let's be clear. And I know you probably mentioned this. I've been watching the entire time because I was running an errand. Croc, I'm heading back to the studio now. That's why I don't have my beautiful background. But Here we go. Look, you've got the power here. Deebo doesn't have that much power. I know a lot of players are giving off this odor of perceived power because trades are being demanded or guys don't want to sign deals like Adams and they get traded right away. But the bottom line is Deebo is under contract. Deebo technically has to come back and play. With the mandatory fines that NFL players now get when they hold out, he's not holding out. And Deebo will eventually, I think, come back if a decent offer is on the table. So we're not too worried at that point of like having nothing at the end of all this. So I'm going to stand strong, and I'm going to say you give me the number 4 and you give me a second rounder for Deebo Samuel. If you don't want to do it, fine. We'll walk away from the table, and we'll let Deebo come back and prove himself for a year. Although I want to give him the contract. Let me also make it very clear: the Niners completely botched this situation when Deebo was asking for reasonable money, and a year from now, when the cap increases, it's going to be ridiculously reasonable. So this was botched from the beginning.
But hold on. So now I'm going to play Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything less than $71 million guaranteed.
Well, Deebo, we've got 55 in the coffers. We set aside that months and months ago. I know the market went up, but we are the Niners, and we didn't prepare for that. Just like we didn't prepare for
I'm not
Jimmy
signing
G
that. I'm not signing that. I don't want that. I want what the other elite receivers are, and I mean more to your organization than what some of those guys did. Y'all not going to the playoffs. Y'all not doing none of that stuff without me. So, like, I carried this team. I put the team on my back. You threw screens to me. You used me at running back. You used me on end arounds. I beat up my body running through the A and B gap. I'm not taking less than 71.
Okay, so here's what John's gonna say.
And if I don't get that, I'm not playing.
Okay, here's what John's gonna say. I'm not allowed to swear, right?
You can do. You can swear. You're good.
Okay. So here's what John's gonna say. Shit, he's right, Kyle. But anyway, we're not giving it to you, Deebo. We just don't have it right now. We'll have it next year. So you can either do one of two things. Okay, Deebo, you can sign the $55 million guaranteed, and then or we could send you an offer next year. We'll take care of you. Show us what you can do, Deebo. I'm done with this conversation, Deebo. I'm going to go over here and talk to the Jets. Bye-bye. So then John, so that's it. We're letting that handle itself. He either signs it or he doesn't. I'm John Lynch. Like, I can sit on my hands for weeks. It doesn't bother me. So I'm going to go over here and talk to the Jets. Hey, Jets, give me the number 4 and a second rounder. Oh, you don't want to do that because you didn't offer that for Tyreek? Well, that's not my problem. Deebo's younger, okay? Tyreek's got 2 or 3 years left. Deebo's just getting started. So go ahead.
I did see someone say that Deebo is only 22 months younger than Tyreek Hill.
Okay, well, you're focusing on the wrong thing here, Jets. Let's keep focused, all right? Less knowledge. So here, let me tell you, Croc, what I do with that draft capital. This is like I always say, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, they do sit on their hands quite a bit. The organization sits on their hands quite a bit. But you guys do turn into werewolves for one night a year on draft night, and you guys go crazy and start trading. So here's what you do, okay? You draft Sauce Gardner or Stingley if available at 10. I think Stingley could be. Sauce will probably be gone.
But y'all just signed. You just signed Charvarius Ward, and you got Emmanuel Mosley. You want to just kick one of those guys to the side?
Look, it's best player available. We're taking Stingley if he's there, because Stingley's going to make this defense top 5 guaranteed. Then we take our original second rounder with the newfound Jet second rounder, trade up into the very bottom of the first round, and we grab Christian Watson. And with 2 moves, we have Stingley and we have Watson for Deebo Samuel. And this team is not only a top 5 offense still, it's a top 5 defense. And overall, the team is better.
Do you think that, and as a fantasy guy, let's say there, hypothetically speaking, there's no Deebo Samuel. How do you feel about Brandon Ayuk in a fantasy world?
I think I'm looking at film from his rookie year, and I'm seeing very similar style of play and results as Deebo in a short window, of course. And you know, he wasn't getting the volume Deebo was at the new running back / wide receiver position. But let's be real. As much as I love Deebo, and I do think Deebo is a better at replicating his old numbers than Ayuk replicating them this year. But looking at the film, watching how Ayuk was used, I think we all can be honest here and say we felt like Ayuk was going to have the year Deebo had originally. So if you're giving me Christian Watson and you're putting Ayuk in that role, and you've got the upgrade from Jimmy to Trey Lance, the offense might be better even if Deebo were gone. I'm not saying it would be better than Deebo being added to it. So let me make that clear. Like, what I mean is the offense better with Jimmy G the way it is with Deebo, or is it, and I'm not saying you couldn't have both of Deebo stay, but I'm just saying in general, you've replaced out your quarterback, you've got a huge upgrade there, you've downgraded your wide receiver, but Trey Lance accounts for that difference. You still got a top 5 offense, but in return, you have a guaranteed top 5 defense if you're going to add Stingley to that defensive backfield. That's my thought process.
Okay.
Of course, I love Deebo Samuel. You guys know how much I've been beating a drum and beating a dead horse on the topic that the Niners completely botched this situation, just like they botched the Jimmy G situation, just like they're continuing to botch the Jimmy G situation. It's nonstop with this organization. As good as you guys are at scouting and so many things, John Lynch has a problem. John Lynch does not, I'm sorry, Kyle Shanahan has a problem. Both of them do. But Kyle Shanahan cannot shit or get off the pot. He just sits there. And he's done this over and over and over at the quarterback position, over and over and over, you know, and I don't think I'm worried enough about this Trey Lance situation that I feel like Jimmy's got to get off the roster, right? Here's another idea, Croc, and you tell me tell me examples where this has happened in your day or with your experience. Is there a way to cut Jimmy G? Use that money to right-size Deebo for just 1 year and tell him when the cap increases next year, we come back and we try to make it right. If not, you franchise tag him. And guess what? After Cooper Kupp signs his deal, because Cooper Kupp's signing his deal really soon, after A.J. Brown maybe gets an extension, that franchise tag money for wide receivers is going to be amazing. So he'll be fine if he gets franchise tagged. So tell me, Croc, is that a possibility to give a player on his 1 year deal a right size kind of bump?
If I'm Deebo Samuel, I want the long-term security. One thing about Deebo Samuel, he's not, and it's like, oh, well, he's younger than Tyreek Hill, but he's not like young, right? This isn't like DK Metcalf, when he signs this extension coming up, or AJ Brown, they're going to be 24 years old. Deebo Samuel turns 27 in January.
Yeah, but Croc,
so if we're talking about waiting a year and then trying to figure out how to extend them after that, you're kind of playing with fire a little bit. At least for him. If I'm him, I know I want that security right now. Like, I want that $71 million right now. Because if you're not willing to pay it, then the Jets or somebody else is.
I get it, but he doesn't really ultimately have a choice. He can pretend to hold out, but Croc, he's not holding out. He's not holding out. Like, he only has so much power because in today's NFL, you cannot hold out. If you hold out, if you're making $3.9 million or whatever his exact number is, and he's getting fined $40,000 in mandatory fines that cannot be waived later, he can't hold out. I know everyone thinks that players have control right now. They only have control if the team lets them have control. And I think out of all organizations, and this is a good thing that the Niners have this going for them, they're one of the last organizations that's going to let a player push him around, and he literally only has so much control. So I don't want that. But if John comes to him and says, look, we'll give you a right size amount, and right now he's getting paid $4 million, and if you give him, let's say, 15, and he's getting 19 to 20 million. I'm not saying, I'm asking you too, is that feasible? Is that something you've ever seen where a player is going to get right sized almost for free just to show your appreciation for him? That money's sitting there.
Yeah, that happened with Marshawn Lynch. Remember that happened with Marshawn Lynch? They reworked something on the last year of his contract that gave him like a pay bump for that year.
Yeah, and let's be honest, the Niners bought shit. They owe them this, and I think this would be a nice move because if you think about it, if they give him a right-size deal, they upgrade him a little bit there, they give him like 16, 17 million, whatever, to make it, let's say 22 million, 21 million is what he'd be paid. That is a reasonable alternative if Deebo says, I'm not taking 55 million guaranteed. You know, like let's say you say, Deebo, let's meet you halfway. Let's say we pay you what would equate to third overall salary for wide receivers, but we only guarantee it to you for 2 years. So if it's 27 million, then you guarantee him 27 million for 2 years, and the other 2 years are avoidable or optional, whatever. So you're giving him one thing. You're giving him the flex value of you are the third highest paid wide receiver in the league, but we're not going to guarantee it for the 3 or 4 years. We'll give it to you for 2. If Deebo says no, you tell him we'll right size you. If he says no, Deebo, we did everything we can. See you later. You'll show up. Believe me. That's what I would say. That's what I would say. Unfortunately, the Niners created this mess, but if I had to clean it up, that's how I'd handle it.
Someone in the chat asked if you have a show, and Smitty, just to let y'all know, he's not a 49er fan, but he does do some shows with 49ers. Got the quad box with our guy Raj on Instagram. You also have your fantasy stuff, but he does love Trey Lance, so there is that part of it. He actually is an Arizona Cardinal fan. You live in Arizona, right?
Yeah, I'm like an NFL show, and you know it's fantasy. It's the fantasyfootballshow.com, but it that goes to my YouTube channel. But I have on a Niners show. We do like the Instagram quad box show pretty much every single night on Instagram, and then yeah, we got the YouTube channel on that too. But yeah, I like Croc. I take pride in anytime there's this is the way that I describe my channel, my YouTube channel. Anytime there's breaking news, I'm live within 1 to 2 minutes. You know, breaking it down. So you know that's the way. And Croc, I need you to come on. So you need to tell me what day works for you. I'm live Monday through Friday, man. So.
All right, I was trying like my because the draft and all that, then they got me, and I've been flying to California down there every weekend. It's been a little sticky right now, but we'll work on it. We'll work on it.
Yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern every Monday through Friday. You got to come on. The people demand it.
All right, Smitty, I appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yeah, and hey, do you agree with the right size thing? Do you think that's an option?
If I'm Deebo Samuel, I want long-term security, and I want to be paid for what I do on the field and my usage and my importance to the team.
So if you're Deebo Samuel though, Croc, and I gave you those two options, sign your $27 million a year deal on 2 years guaranteed, or which is over 50 million a year guaranteed, or it's over 50 million guaranteed. It's like 50, whatever, 50, they call it 53, 54 million. Are you signing that deal or taking my right size offer of 22 million, or are you actually going to hold out? Because if I'm John, let's say I give you those options and that's it. What are you going to do then? What are you going to do?
Then I'll hold in. Who was it? Melvin Ingram? Oh, not Melvin Ingram. Who was it that ended up holding out, but he actually was showing up so he can't get fined?
Melvin Gordon, and it ruined his career.
But I would do that then not.
It's different though, Croc. It's $40,000 a day. You can't. I mean, he can't hold. He literally can't hold out. Like you can pretend to hold out until the 11th hour, but you have to return. It's not like he has the luxury of paying $40,000 a day or whatever it equates to. Like you literally are committing to not only potentially ruining your career, because you will eventually come crawling back. Why? Because you won't accrue a year. You won't accrue a year. If you don't accrue a year, you're back in this boat next year. You're not even in a position to get franchise tagged. You have to work this final year out if you hold out. Like so like, would you really actually start accruing the 40,000 if it was you? Do you think that would push them to the limit? You take the gamble?
Oh, well, Eric's not being offered. Again, I'm looking at what these other guys are making at my position. So I need that.
Yeah.
If y'all want the full Deebo, y'all don't want this distraction in the locker room. Y'all don't want to have to answer about contract stuff and is Deebo Samuel unhappy and scrubbing his Instagram page and having other guys post stuff talking about 25 million and don't talk to him, whatever that case is. If I'm Deebo and I'm about to be 27 years old in January, I need that long-term security. I just had a son. I need all my chips. However you got to do it, I need that.
But I offered you.
Don't pay me 15. Don't pay me 16 million less than the next guy. Now here's the only thing. We'll see what AJ Brown gets. We'll see what DK Metcalf gets. If they get anything close to 70, don't bring no $55 million to me at all.
So Croc, it's the night before. I'm John Lynch. I've already told you the two offers. It's the night before the day you start losing game checks. You start losing $40,000 a day. It's the night before. Are you still holding out when I've already told you what we're doing? We've offered you $53 million guaranteed, 2 years, 2 additional years that aren't guaranteed. I've made those offers. It's the night before. Are you holding out and going to miss $40,000? Unrefundable. It's mandatory. Doesn't matter if you sign a deal later. You're paying those fines. Are you still holding out?
Hold on. Let me talk to my agent real quick. Are you going to cover me for this $40,000 a day? Oh, yeah, I got $40,000 for you. Oh, we're holding out.
Okay.
My agent said he got me.
Okay.
We're holding out for max dollar. My agent said he got me.
Have you seen, the last thing I'll say, have you seen how we've handled the Jimmy G situation? This is John Lynch talking. Have you seen we've handled the Jimmy G situation? We aren't going to be speedy, Croc. We aren't going to be speedy. We gave you our offer. It's our best offer. We'll see you later, Deebo. Show up. We can't wait to see you when you come back. We'll have open arms. I'm just telling you, that's how I see John. But, hey, Croc, I appreciate you, man. And let me know when you're ready to come on the show.
All right, sounds good. I appreciate you,
Thanks,
dog.
Croc. Bye.
Shout out to my guy Smitty, man. Make sure y'all tune in to everything he got going on. Got the quad box going on Instagram with the guy Raj. Raj, he runs the Instagram page, the SF 49ers. There's our SF 49ers and the SF 49ers. It's one of those, but he got like damn near 200,000 followers on Instagram. It's like 200,000 followers. It's a lot. You don't see that. I think he said he's approaching the most of any fan page on social media. There's no other fan base of any other team in any other sport that has as many followers as him, which is awesome. And they do the quad box all the time. Shout out to everybody that's in here. Hey, pay the man. Pay the man. Let's go. Hey, y'all be on. Hey, agents. Agents got deep pockets. If there's an agent out there and he's thinking, all right, like it's worth it for me to invest this however much money in the Deebo Samuel. He's not playing, but his future is concerned. Is secure. I'm telling him, hold out. I'll pay the fine, Deebo. Okay, to come out of your pocket. I'll incentivize you some other type of way. We'll get you that money. Won't be any money lost. But at the end of the day, when you sign, it'll be well worth it. It'll be well worth it. It'll be worth it to his agent, who gets a percentage of that. And it'll be worth it to Deebo Samuel to have that long-term security. So we'll see. Again, I don't foresee this happening, but again, I also don't put anything past the 49ers because they have shown us before. You know what I'm saying? They have shown us before what they'll do. He said, ain't no damn agent paying those fines. You never know. Listen, because at the end of the day, on the back end of things, that agent, he gonna get bread. Like when that contract hits, and maybe he says, all right, I'll cover those, but I'm gonna bump my percentage up from 5 to 8% or something like that. He'll get that money back. But in the long run, Deebo gets much more money on top of that and much more long-term security. So losing $2K a week is cool to you, Croc? Is my agent covering it? And how long would they do this for? Are we saying losing $2K a week because maybe he doesn't go to a 3-day mini camp? Or are y'all talking about heading into the season? I'd assume that this would be resolved by training camp. I'd assume that. But don't ask me to show up to anything before then. And if you're still doing this by training camp, then, I'll have that conversation with my agent. Agent will have a conversation. What's it worth to us? to get that. But I tell you what, $200,000 a week, that's a lot of money. But also, like an extra $20 million guaranteed. Like I need that for my future and longevity, especially with the way that Kyle Shanahan's play. Like I'm not playing on you. You want me to beat up my body, run through A gap, B gap, go be a kickoff returner, go out there, throw passes for touchdowns, be a 1,400-yard receiver, and you're not giving me any long-term security? I don't think that's the way you treat your players. Again, got my mama in here. Love you, mama. Shout out to my guy, Dion. 274 people in here. 274. Only 133 likes, man. Y'all hit that like button. Support the show. Let people see it with the algorithms and all that good stuff. But fun discussion. Fun discussion. Again, I don't foresee anything happening. We'll see how long this stuff takes. But I know I'm not taking less than A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf and Terry McLaurin. So what do those guys get? And don't come at me with no BS. Kyle, John, we out of here. Peace. See y'all tomorrow.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Aaron Crocker. Over midfield, he'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Crosstalk TV podcast. Peace.